Hi, everybody. I got an idea. I came across a book on the table and it interested me, and I'm about to start reading it. I haven't read it before, earlier. So I'm going to start reading it, and I thought it might interest you to hear what it has to say. This is a story written by a person named R.K. Narayan. Now, R.K. Narayan was a writer of the past generation, about say within the past 100 years. And he is quite humorous with a light humor laced all over the place. It's not something which will burst out laughing. You will here and there, but by and large, every sentence of his is having a little sarcastic, humorous tone. That I know because I've read some of his other novels. Now, this novel, the author's name is R.K. Narayan, and this book is called Swami and Friends. Swami, 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 that is short form for Swaminathan. So, Swaminathan and Friends. These are boys in a school. That is what it is. And I'm about to start reading this. And so here goes. Chapter 1, Monday morning. It was Monday morning. Swaminathan was reluctant to open his eyes. Swaminathan, that is Swami. He was reluctant to open his eyes Monday morning. He considered Monday specially unpleasant in the calendar. After the delicious freedom of Saturday and Sunday, it was difficult to get into the Monday mood of work and discipline. You know, Saturday and Sunday. The weekend starts on Friday evening. As soon as school is over, as soon as work is over, that is weekend. The all the things which tie you up, tie you down to discipline, to timings, to work, to reporting, all that is over. For 2 days, you are free to just let go, relax, and enjoy. So weekend is always pleasant and something looked forward to. But then comes Monday, the all the things go. To come back to discipline after freedom is very difficult, so unpleasant. So Monday morning is always unpleasant. He is especially unpleasant in the calendar. After the delicious freedom of Saturday and Sunday, it was difficult to get into the Monday mood of work and discipline. He shuddered at the very thought of school. Okay, this Swami is in school. He has to go to school. He's a boy, schoolboy. He shuddered at the very thought of school. That dismal yellow building, the school dismal yellow building. He, the fire-eyed Vedanayagam, his class teacher. The school, the class teacher. The class teacher's name is Vedanayagam, and his fire-eyed means his eyes so furious, the children would look at it and then get scared. And the headmaster with his thin, long cane. The headmaster had a thin, long cane with which he would swish at any child who did any indiscipline. So by 8, he was at his desk in his room. So Swami was in his room by 8, and his room was a corner of his father's dressing room. So this remember we are talking about a situation almost 100 years ago, because this book, this story was written, published in 19. Let me see. I read it now. It is 1935, which is it was first published 1935, and today is 2024 or 2000, almost 2025. So this is 100, no, 90 years, not 100. This is 90 years ago this book was published, this story. So the story happened during the previous period. So it is a situation of 100 years ago. And the world has changed so much in these 100 years. Today you are in 2025, and imagine how the world was 100 years ago. This book will give you an idea of how the world was 100 years ago. So let us read on, because I cannot tell you how the world was 100 years ago because I wasn't there. I was born later. And this book is by somebody who was there and who saw that, who experienced, and who had the ability to write it in a very humorous manner. Let's read. So by 8, Swami was at his desk in his room, which was only a corner of his father's dressing room. And his father's dressing room doesn't mean he had a room for dressing, a room for sleeping, a room for study, a room for eating. No, this is 100 years ago. There was one room in which the family would live, and the everything would be done in different portions of that room. So the dressing room is that section of the room where the father would do whatever is. And there in a corner was this boy's room. So he Swami had a table on in his room. There was a table on which all his things, his coat, his cap, his slate, his ink bottle, his books, were all thrown in that corner, and that is his room. In a confused heap, he sat on his stool and shut his eyes to recollect what work he had for the day. So Swami got up. Somehow he got his things, he said, together, and he came to his room and sat on his stool. It wasn't a chair with a comfortable foam back and swivel and all that. It was a stool, 4 legs firmly on the floor, and you had to scratch it, drag it across the floor. And he had tried to recollect what all he had to do for the day. First, of course, there was arithmetic. Those 5 puzzles in profit and loss. Profit and loss is when these are arithmetic problems. You buy something and pay 10. You sell it for 12. So you get a profit of 2. So 5 puzzles in profit and loss. Then there was English. He had to copy down a page from his English 8th lesson and write dictionary meanings of difficult words. And then there was geography. And only 2 hours before him to do all his heap of work and get ready for school. So it was 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock was his school, and he was doing this. He had to do 5 puzzles in profit and loss in arithmetic. Then there was English. He had to copy a page and then mark out all the difficult words and look up the dictionary for the meaning and write it down. You know what's a dictionary? A dictionary is a book where you have all the words in alphabetical order, and a word will be followed by its meaning. So there are thousands of words in English language, and words have meanings, and those meanings are written in that dictionary. So you come across a word in your book, you want to know the meaning, go to the dictionary. It is in alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, like that up to Z. So if it's a word in called book, open the dictionary, go to the B alphabet, and under B you look BA, BB, BC, BD, BO, B-O-O-K, book. Okay, book. What is book? Book is a place, writing where all things are compiled. Book. Something like that will be written. So he had to refer to the dictionary for meaning of words and write it down. That was homework. And then there was a geography, 3 lessons: arithmetic, English, and geography. And only 2 hours to do all this. Then he was in school. So what happens in school? Fire-eyed Vedanayagam was presiding over the class with his back to the long window. Now the scene is shifted to the school classroom. In the classroom, the children are all at their places, and Vedanayagam, their class teacher, was standing with his back to the long window. Through its bars, one saw a bit of the drill ground and a corner of the veranda of the infant standard. So this is Swami's classroom, and there is a window, and the teacher is Vedanayagam is standing, and by his side, above his head, and all that, they are able to see the drill grounds. In school, that is the place where the children go to play, to run, to do drill. Drill means they'll all stand in rows in particular order, and then there'll be a drill master who will blow his whistle, prrr, prrr, and then they'll have to do 1, 2, and do that, raising their arms or stretching, bending, different exercises. So the drill ground, a corner of the veranda was seen, and also the infant standards. So there was the other classrooms for the children, smaller than Swami. There were huge windows on the left showing vast open grounds bound at the other extreme by railway embankment. So on the other side of the room was big windows and a big ground, and there was a railway line and an embankment. To Swaminathan, existence in the classroom was possible only because he could watch the toddlers of the infant standards falling over one another, and through the windows on the left see the 12:30 p.m. mail gliding over the embankment, booming and rattling while passing over the Sarayu Bridge. So, inside the classroom, Swaminathan would get bored, and he would only have interest because he could see through the window the children's class and the children playing and falling and tumbling, and by then the train will come along the embankment, and it will go. The coaches will pass 1, 2, 3, and they would count. Oh yes, this train has got 12 coaches. Oh, yesterday it was bigger. Yesterday's train had 14 coaches, like that. These things gave them interest rather than what the class teacher was saying. And there was the train would be passing over the Sarayu bridge, that is a river bridge. The first hour passed off quietly. The second they had arithmetic. Vedanayagam went out and returned in a few minutes in the role of an arithmetic teacher. So the first hour was over. The second hour, the school bell rang, tanang, 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 and then the class is over. Second hour, the teacher goes and he comes back. Now he is the arithmetic teacher. The same Vedanayagam, but now he is going to teach arithmetic. So this used to happen. The same one teacher, and he will teach English, he'll teach arithmetic, he'll teach geography, he'll teach everything. He droned on monotonously. Droning means just going on, going on, going on, talking, and the children lose attention, and they look at all the surroundings. They forget that they are in a classroom, and then fall asleep. Swaminathan was terribly bored. His teacher's voice was beginning to get on his nerves. He felt sleepy. You see, I told you, after some time, the children fall asleep in the class. Then you know what the teacher says? You here, have you come to sleep in the classroom? Go and bring a pillow from your room tomorrow. And the children will wake up, and then they'll be caned or asked to stand up, some punishment. The teacher called for home exercises. So teacher said, "Who has done the exercise? Bring it." So Swaminathan left his seat and got onto the platform and placed his notebook on the table. The teacher's table and chair are placed on a platform. The children are sitting at the floor level on chairs or benches. So they have to go climb up that platform and then place the book on the teacher's table. While the teacher was scrutinizing the sums, Swaminathan was gazing on his face, which seemed so tame at close quarters. So Swaminathan had produced his book, and the teacher was looking at it, and Swaminathan was looking at the teacher's face. And he saw this teacher is looking so tame. He doesn't look ferocious when looking at it. So he was wondering. Huh? His criticism of the teacher's face was that his eyes were too near each other, that there was more hair on his chin than one saw from the bench, and that he was very, very bad looking. So Swaminathan had time to observe his teacher's face, and he had comments inside his head. Oh, this teacher, his eyes are too near to each other, and there's more hair on his chin than what they could see from the bench, and the teacher was very, very bad looking. His reverie was disturbed. Reverie, you don't know the meaning? You have to go. What should you do? Go to the dictionary and refer to the word. Dictionary is the book where all words in the English language are written in alphabetical order. So you go open dictionary, open the word, the page at R, reverie, R-E-V. So R-A, R-B, R-C, R-D, R-E. So R-E, then R-E-V. Go to R-E-V, reverie. And then you'll find the meaning. Reverie means a dream or just imagination. His reverie was disturbed. He felt a terrible pain in the soft flesh above his left elbow. So, as he was having his reverie, he felt a sharp pain above his left elbow. It was his teacher pinching him. The teacher was pinching him with one hand and with the other crossing out all the sums. So the teacher was looking at the work done by the homework done by Swaminathan, and it was all wrong. So he was cutting it out and he was pinching Swaminathan on his left arm. So suddenly Swaminathan came back from his reverie and he probably screamed. Here, and teacher crossed out everything and wrote very bad at the bottom of the page and flung the notebook in Swaminathan's face. Go back to your seat, he said. So that was that arithmetic class. Next period, they had geography. The boys looked forward to it eagerly. So this geography class was different, and the students looked forward to it eagerly because the teacher was a different person. The teacher's name was D. Pillai. D. Pillai. And he had earned a name in the school for kindness and good humor. The teacher was, this D. Pillai history teacher was very kind, and he had good humor and he would tell jolly good stories. He was reputed to have never frowned or sworn at the boys at any time. His method of teaching history conformed to no canon of education. Now, canon is a word I don't know. You look up the dictionary, tell me the meaning tomorrow. He told the boys with a wealth of detail the private histories of Vasco da Gama, Clive, Hastings, and others. So, this history teacher would tell them with a lot of details and private histories, the stories of Clive, Vasco da Gama, Hastings, and others. These are historical characters. History means the what happened long ago. is written down, and that is called history. And today the children have to study what happened long ago. So that is the history class. And in history class, they read about the people who lived long ago, what they did, who went, all that. So in this history class, they read about Vasco da Gama, Clive, Hastings, and so on. When he described the various fightings in history, one heard the clash of arms and the groans of the slain. So this headmaster, this history master, class teacher D. Pillai would tell the story. Vasco da Gama came by ship and he landed in the port, and all his pirates came on board with their swords flashing and killed all the people and took away everything, and all the clash of arms and the fightings and the people running and screaming and groan of all that. He was the despair of the headmaster whenever the latter stole along the corridor with noiseless steps on his rounds of inspection. So this deep life would tell all his history stories with so much of fervor and enthusiasm, and the children would be so happy to hear all that. But he would be telling it so loud, and the headmaster's job is to see that the school runs very properly and with good discipline. So he would walk along the corridor without making noise, without anybody becoming aware, and suddenly he'll be there at the door of the classroom. So he will know how a class is being done, conducted, because different teachers conduct their classes in different manners. Somebody is very serious, somebody is very stern, somebody is very kind, humorous. So the headmaster has to make sure that they do not do things wrongly as per what is the accepted manner of doing things. So the headmaster would go noiselessly along the along the corridors for his round of inspection. So that is a little introduction to this book. We'll now take up the subsequent portion of it on the next edition. Thank you for listening. Bye.